From Provo, Utah, this is the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast with your hosts, Joseph DeGolier.
What the fuck?
What the hell just happened?
Wow. I was going to do a little overlap thing, but
It's still going.
oh, shit, we got something else for the end of the episode. All right, let's start it again.
From Provo, Utah, this is the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast with your hosts, Joseph DeGolier and Caleb Schweiss. This is Ultima Final Fantasy.
Welcome to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. I am your host, Caleb.
I'm your other host, Joe.
And today we are going to be doing a special Patreon episode invite for our good friend, Chase. He's been supporting the show for a little while. Owed him an episode. The time slot worked out. Got it all worked out earlier today. And now we're recording the intro later.
Way later because
Way
we
later.
forgot to record the intro
Indeed.
for like 4 hours.
Yeah, so we were just
Good thing
chilling.
I didn't head up to Ogden right after the...
Yeah, that would have been crappy.
Yeah.
Just been like,
all by yourself. I was in 14.
yeah, where am I in 14, Caleb? I'm glad you asked.
I'm glad I asked. Would be the
Before,
right way to do that.
Before we get into that, though, where are you in Final Fantasy 14?
Well, Schweiss, I'm a few quests ahead of you. I'm in that old dragon song. I'm somewhere in the second patch near the end of it.
Okay.
I think I might be stuck on a... Yeah, there's a dude. Okay, so there's a fight going on right now. And you got to kill all these guys really quickly. And then there's a boss fight. And he seems pretty easy up until the end when he's like summoning a bunch of swords. And you have to kill him in a certain amount of time, I think is what you're supposed to do. But I shall look it up because I've died twice. And that's usually my look-up time.
The threshold.
Then he just blows everything up and I die instantly with full health. I just immediately die. And there's no like obvious safe spot on the map or anything. So he is brutal, dude. And it's like, it's not even a serious part of the game. It's like some contest thing in the story. You'll get to it. It's, I don't know, man. You do a lot more damage than I do, so you might not have problems on that one, but
yeah, we'll see.
yeah, we will see.
I am a few quests behind Joe. I'm just barely after the first expansion patch, I guess, for Dragon Song.
I think
War.
there's 5 patches, right?
I think so, something like
Okay.
that, 4 or 5. And I kind of ended last time just doing one of the dungeons with a few listeners. There are a few guys are pretty close to where we're at. There are a few people that are much further back, and then obviously a lot of people are way ahead of us. So
A lot of people are in the middle of Stormblood right now.
yeah. Which we will be playing, by the way.
We
but-
made that clear.
Yeah, very clear. Stormblood is happening. But yeah, I didn't play very much this week. I was kind of sick, so I just really wasn't up to it. I just felt like crap, and I was like, I just want to go to sleep, and I did.
I played a little bit ahead of you, but only like where I was comfortable playing ahead of you.
Yeah.
I got to the next big action thing, and I forgot that's where I'm stuck on. I'm pissed about it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fable 2 really, like, because we got to play Fable 2 for Nude Clan, it really, gives me a bit of a respite from 14. It's nice.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. That's
It
for
is
sure.
way easier game. I'm almost done with that thing in a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We got probably like a month and a half left in 14, if not more.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
But I mean, we are planning on doing. We're going to print out a list of all the dungeons, and then we're going to try to do all of the dungeons in the game.
We're going to try. A lot of people say that's really going to be hard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There are a few exclusively large ones that we want to do, like the Bahamut, and then I want to finish the tower thing that we were doing, and just a couple other things that I think we should knock out.
Okay.
And then I obviously the dungeons are what make 14 fun, so I do think we should do as many of them as possible, and I don't mind taking an extra week just dungeon running near the end. As long as we get all the quests activated and get them unlocked and get it ready to go, we can just queue up,
Yeah.
So if you guys are interested in joining that, just go ahead and tweet Krinital at Krinital, Krinital. He'll get you signed up for the free company. He'll get you a link to the Discord chat / voice chat. And yeah, come hang out with us in 14. We're
Or if
be
you're
there
on
in a
Brent
little
Hill,
while.
there's just Nude Clan, I think, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can request to join.
Is it Nude Clan one word or Nude Clan two?
I think it's one.
Okay.
I don't know. It just looks right, so I assume it's one.
Okay.
But it's been fun. I've been having a lot of fun in 14. Part of me misses the single player aspect of some of the other games, but it's nice to have a multiplayer mix up in here. I mean, we don't get very many of these MMOs or even multiplayer Final Fantasies, so
We won't get another one till Crystal Chronicles.
Yeah, so we'll do all
And that's
of
if we really want to sit in the same room together. And
Well, it's not an it's a if we can find time. Like,
Yeah.
we don't.
so that is an if.
Yeah, I guess it's not an if we
definitely
want
an
to
if.
do it because we hate each other. It's an if we want to do it because who knows, like, if you'll have time for that or if I'll have time for that. And I mean, Crystal Chronicles, I think that's not that far off.
Oh, it's pretty far. It's pretty far.
Oh, okay, so we've got all of the Evil East Alliance.
So all 7 of those games.
No, it's only 4.
4 of those games.
And then Type Zero.
Type Zero.
And then
Crystal
Crystal
Chronicles.
Chronicles. That's the one that has 6
And they're
games.
all multiplayer co-ops.
Are you serious?
I'm not sure about the download Wii ones, but the other ones are definitely.
Oh, wow.
Monday's the day, right? We just go from when you get to work to when you got to go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be sweet. If it's kind of too bad they're not online. Like, that kind of sucks, you know?
Okay. If you want us to afford a place where Ultima Final Fantasy can go and stream
A secret place to escape
and
to.
not ruin Caleb's home any more than it is already ruined by so many tables and mics and cameras and things. Patreon, what does Patreon have to be at? Like $600 a month?
Yeah.
So if anybody is super rich and just wants to help a guy out, feel free,
Yeah.
Take the money.
It would help us greatly.
It would. Speaking of Patreon, we do have an announcement, and if you are a patron that didn't get this, please get a hold of us somehow. We are trying to get all of our Patreon stuff caught up, and if you have not gotten something like a mug or a sticker or an episode invite, and we just need to know about it.
Yeah, we've been getting kind of behind on it. I need to start, like, really
Well, because we
cracking
have
down.
like multiple tiers, it's hard to keep track of like what we've sent and what we haven't. We try to keep track of it. About every couple months, we just kind of plow through them. But we want to get really serious about it. Dave is so serious; he's ready to record a song next week. So we're hoping we'll have that goal out in the next like 2 weeks.
Yeah. He's been really pushing for it. I mean, he's going to start a new tour here pretty soon. He's been
Yes.
touring heavy, so
That's right. He's got Scorpions coming in.
Yeah,
in September.
Yeah. He's got lots of little mini tours, so
Okay.
looking forward to that.
All right, guys. You can tweet me at Joseph Golier.
Me at UFF Podcast.
You can find the podcast website at ultimafinalfantasy.com. We are going to have a store soon, by the way, and the store for Nude Clan is actually already up. So there'll be some other ways to support the show and to get some merch and do all that other sort of fun stuff here in the next few weeks. What else we got? Twitch.tv/Ultima Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Facebook.com/Ultima Final Fantasy. YouTube.com/Ultima Final Fantasy. And
the phone line, 385-204-3921. It's 385-204-3921. Leave us your questions, intros, anything you want. We would really appreciate it. We pay for it, so please use it.
please.
Please justify our funds.
All right. Let's talk to Chase.
All right, let's do it. Welcome to another special Patreon episode invite. I am Caleb.
I am Joe. This is the podcast is called Special Patreon Invite.
Well, no, we're going to do an intro. We will
Ultima
have done
Final Fantasy.
We will have done an intro.
Oh
before
yeah,
this.
we're doing that. Okay, never
Yes.
mind. Forget what I'm saying.
Yes. We have Chase here with us today. Is it cool if we call you Chase?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay, cool.
No, it's too long. Call
I
him
forgot.
Ch.
Yeah, just hey, and he has been a patron with us for a little while now, and yeah, we're very excited to have you guys on. Like I've said before, these are some of my favorite episodes, is to hear where the rest of the fan base comes from. Because, I mean, I growing up, I had a couple of friends that were into Final Fantasy, and then there was Joe, of course, later on in life. So it's kind of limited for me, honestly. So it's interesting to hear how others came into the series, whether it mirrors me or it's like completely earlier than my days or whatever it might end up being. It's always fun to hear. So pretty excited to get into that. Yeah.
Okay.
What brought you into Final Fantasy as a whole? Where did it start?
Whew. That takes me back. Let's see. I think I started when I was probably like 6 or 7. That was around the time that my parents were divorced. Sad. But around that time, that's when they're like, hey, maybe when we're gone, he should be playing some video games. And so
That's a good babysitting.
Great babysitting tactic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I started with the PlayStation, actually. I think that's around the time that it came out. When I was 6 or 7, I was born in 91. So when was the PlayStation?
It was like 96, 95. Yeah.
Okay, so that's about the right
Depends on
time.
your region, right?
Yeah. And I didn't pick Final Fantasy as one of my first games, but my dad did, and I happened to start out with Final Fantasy VII, the big one that everyone plays around here.
Right.
And after that, I went through 7, I went through 8, 9. It was just awesome games, and I remember just putting hours and hours. I've probably played, I don't want to say as many times as Caleb. He put like 20 times into Final Fantasy VII.
Is that right?
Wait, 20?
That seems a little high.
Played it 20 times?
Yeah.
Oh, no way, man. No way.
Oh, no
I
way?
played it I've started it and gotten to probably disc 2 maybe 5 or 6 times.
Okay.
So you're probably smoking me. Most of the listener base is probably destroying me completely.
Well, you
I think
did get all those achievements, right?
I didn't get the trophies, no, but I did everything that would have given me the platinum, except for maybe 1 or 2 things
Okay.
through FF7. So I did
yeah.
a lot, but
I played it on the computer, so before Steam, you had to unfortunately pirate the game at that time if you wanted it for free. So
Well, yeah, that's how you
Yeah. Well, you
get
had to
most games for free.
you had to steal it if you wanted it for free. Is that what you're telling us?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so I would play once a year until I was probably about 18. I'm getting tired of this game. As great of a game this is, it looks really bad once you're 18.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, after that, I've been keeping up with pretty much every one of the series. I do have to say, though, I have not beat most of them. I just checked it out, and I'm below half, just barely.
Of the main series or the whole thing?
Just the main series.
Oh, okay. I was going to say,
No,
if it's the whole
entire
thing,
series,
neither have we.
no.
But
Are you kidding with the whole series? Fuck no. You guys are barely at the halfway mark, are you? Or not
Almost to the
I think
halfway.
so,
I think we
yeah.
got 3 games.
with our own list too, so it's like a little bit of a up in the air with the 11 expansions. I don't know
I'd be
how many
crying.
other people would count those as separate games, but yes.
Yeah, I'd be pretty sad about that. But yeah, I've played 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, all the way up. But the only ones the ones I haven't been are 11, because back then it was, for me at least, really hard to get a good enough computer with internet. And then I found out later you could do it on the PlayStation 2, but I didn't have any of the internet capabilities to even get close to playing 11 on that. So that was a lot of good game time that I missed I know you guys suffer quite a bit, though.
It depends on the type of player you are.
Yeah.
Certainly, it's not for the faint of heart, or for someone who wants like a regular Final Fantasy. They're going to be in for a surprise.
Unless the last one they played was FF1, they're going to be surprised. I would say.
Final Fantasy 1 was pretty brutal, and I did not finish that. That was that's just deathly. You just move a couple steps and you die.
I would recommend the Dawn of Souls version. It is way easier.
Yeah.
Okay. But just beating Final Fantasy 14, it was a total grind. I highly recommend only the toughest of people to play it, but I guess this podcast is meant for it. So that's what I got to say about the series. It's just been fun, and a lot of like emotional things, especially like with 10's ending and 7's just ideas about greenery and the desire to make the earth a lot better. Those things have just really hit me as good marks of a good video game.
Right, and it's basically Godzilla too, right? It's like a hybrid between Godzilla and Save the Planet. Well, I mean, you've got the weapons that become
that's true.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Weaponized.
So it's a kaiju game.
It is, yeah. They're to protect the planet. The kaiju is released.
Oh, okay.
And attacks those.
So it's like a newer Godzilla movie.
Yeah, newer Godzilla. Where Godzilla's a good guy.
Yeah. Not as good.
Still a message in there, so it's kind of older Godzilla as well, but still new Godzilla.
Actually, Godzilla became a good guy very quickly, so maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah, he was bad in the first one, and like after that, it pretty much.
He was bad in the first one. He became a sort of neutral bad guy, and then he became good guy straight up for like a billion films. And it's like a good guy, but he's still destroying shit on his way to.
It's like he means well, but he's really big, so he's still wrecking our fucking city.
Basically,
so I guess
Caleb Craig is
the
not
weapons
on the
really
show
represent that.
So FF7 was your first one, is that right?
Yes, it was.
Tell me about FF7 in particular, then, and we'll move on from there.
I remember just like when I was playing it, I always wanted to do the chocobo stuff. Like you have to get the gold chocobo. That was like the thing I was surprisingly excited for to always do when I was playing the game, just because getting the chocobo brought you access to like the Knights of the Round. I guess the gold chocobo you don't need for anything else really, but just like prepping the chocobo just to get all the materia and then having to do all the races, despite the fact that was extremely grindy. It's just like those aspects I liked about the game. Like you could just do so much in the game. There's the the gold saucer, doing the basketball game.
Oh yeah,
just
it's the only way to go, man. The only way to go. Jeez. I'll tell you.
Oh man, so much GPA worked on getting there. And then, doing a lot of research even on the internet at some point, trying to get every single detail, like the little hidden trick where you can get the guy that you pay a bunch of money to get the GP. I don't know if you remember that guy.
Yeah.
Probably do.
Explain this to me. I'm not sure.
There's a random guy that shows up. There's like a random number generator in the game, and he'll occasionally show up, and you can buy GP from him at the gold saucer. So instead of earning it, you can just throw down a bunch of money and buy it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and you have a lot of money in the game after a while, so it's super easy to just keep spamming that until you got everything you need, to do the battle arena, which is also really fun. There's so many things in that game. Just so many things that are fun about it. Yeah, that's my experience with it. That's why I played it so much, because there's always something I never really did. Although I do have to say, I never beat Emerald and Ruby because I just didn't want to spend the time to get the final attack, attack material or something like that. Final revive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are ways around it. When I did it, I did like a couple counter materials, so like every time he would hit me, I would counter him a couple times. And I know there's a way to do it's like 4 times attack or something in conjunction with a limit break, and you can just keep spamming the limit break like over and over again. I never did that, but I did do the counter materia and then just cure myself basically. The Emerald honestly was harder to do with that because Emerald has that one attack that he just whips out, and it's like, yeah, everyone's dead, and you're like,
yeah, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, you're like, well, fuck. I mean, I was doing great, but it just fucking nukes me. Fountain of Hell or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, and I think that's RNG, right? Like, it's completely random when it does it, and so you know, you could do really well and you just get smoked.
Yeah, or it can happen like immediately too, and you're like, oh, that was fucking fun.
That's nice.
Yeah, so there's nothing you have to get that material if you want to guarantee your win in that battle.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So what did you... I know you played this one when you were pretty young, but what did you think of the story of 7? Or is gameplay what you go to Final Fantasy 4?
I mean, 7's story was great. I mean, the most obvious thing is that you can really graft onto the character because, you know, he's very... I don't want to say stale, but not flat, but, you know, blank. And then he has a very dark story, very mysterious, and you're very intrigued by that. And, I mean, honestly, I think the story was pretty good. I mean, if they made a movie about maybe Final Fantasy VII over, you know, Advent Children, I honestly think it would have been better. Because, you know, 7 is just, it has this like actual story about a character developing, and I think honestly,
with a beginning, a middle,
if you want to make,
yeah.
Go ahead.
With a beginning, a middle, and an end. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's character development. I think is where, you know, Square Enix should really put their time in it if they're ever going to do a movie, because that's where they do well. They do well character development and then do terrible, but for some reason the movies don't do any of that. It's kind of like fight, really cool. Okay, we're done.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there.
Yeah, I got somebody getting real pissed off at me on Twitter about that in the last couple of days, actually.
Tell us about it.
Well, he's, I mean, it's fine. He's a big fan of Advent Children, specifically. Okay. He doesn't like Kingsglaive very much. I think he called that one a mess, and which it is. But he likes Advent Children because he feels like it has a story within itself, like a self-contained thing. And I was like, I don't really think that's the case. Like I want to see what happens.
It's stronger than Kingsglaive.
Well, it is, but I want to see what happens when you show that to like your aunt or your uncle, like, or when you whip out your Advent Children and you show it to a family member. Like, that's the real test. Yeah. And I think it fails that test 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
They're going to be confused what's going on.
Yeah, and because fans of the series are confused as to what's going on for the most part, and so why would someone else not be? Like, but I agree. If they did a movie of 7 itself, it probably could be better. At least, I mean, we have an awful track record for video game movies, but
it's the worst track record in the world. Twice.
Yeah, I don't. It's worse than
think
DC.
Think of another genre or, I guess, movie type.
Yeah, it's worse than DC comic movies now because at least they have one good one apparently. So like, there's 0 good ones for fucking video.
Are you talking about Wonder Woman?
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty good. I haven't seen it yet, but
I just saw it was pretty good. It's not great, but it's definitely better than any video game movie I've seen by far.
If that's what we're judging it on,
it's
you
at
are
least twice as good as any combination of 2 video.
I thought Wonder Woman was like a pretty standard superhero movie, but I'm like, DC hasn't tried a standard one yet and failed at everything else they tried, so they came up with a standard superhero origin story movie and it worked.
Wait, so you saw it?
Yeah, I saw it.
What?
I tracked that shit on Twitter, man.
What is this bull? I don't like. I have a lot of people that follow me on Twitter. I get kind of like.
I saw Wonder Woman
buried.
Yeah,
well,
it was pretty good.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it was like there. When I was watching it, though, I was watching the movie and I was like, okay, that scene's from Guardians of the Galaxy, That scene's from Spider-Man. That's it.
And you haven't seen that many
Honestly-
superhero movies either. Like, you're not a huge...
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen most of them up through like the second round of Marvel movies.
Oh, okay.
Where they're just repeating themselves. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I need to see them. But so I've seen a lot of like the big ones. And yeah, it's all... Ever since that first Spider-Man came out with Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire, it's that's all of them. They're
Yeah.
all that movie.
They have a formula.
Over and over again,
Yeah.
Which is fine. And this one was a good version of that, in my opinion.
It was good, but it was funny that I remember you guys were talking about, I don't know if it was on your other podcast, but about Batman and versus Superman, and I think you were getting all Joe was getting all upset about the 45 minutes of like the Wonder Woman showing. It was kind of like, what's the point of that being
terrible.
there?
Yeah.
And then
I
in the
didn't need
very
it.
beginning,
Go ahead.
the very beginning of it was just about like kind of like Batman, sending this information to Wonder Woman, saying like here's like some pictures, is like prepping basically for the Justice. Is it the Justice League?
Justice League,
In
yeah.
Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
Okay, but let me explain twice. It was like 30 seconds. It was
Okay.
not 45 minutes of a 3-hour movie
Right.
pasted onto 2 different movies.
You were probably like, son of a bitch, right? When it started, you're like, what the fuck, guys?
I don't think I've had this little discussion on Ultima Final Fantasy. I had this on Nude Clan. We were talking about Batman v Superman, so a whole new audience of people is going to hear this. My opinion on Batman v Superman is that there is actually one good movie in there. The
and
unfortunate
it's Batman
thing,
v Superman.
and it's Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
So every scene
The
where
title.
Batman and Superman are like against each other, the movie, it's not perfect, but it is pretty decent. But then there's this other movie called The Cave Troll and Wonder Woman, which is intercut with the Batman versus Superman movie and takes huge chunks of time and makes it so ski-wampus. I actually liked one of those movies within that movie.
That's fair.
So that's my deal with
I had
Batman
the
v
same
Superman.
problem, and I know you did too, with when we watched Passengers. Like, there are 2 movies in
Passengers is 2 movies.
There's the Hollywood
There's one
movie.
really good movie in there, and
Yeah.
then one not good movie.
there. There's the movie that like explores human nature and loneliness and like
and
desperation.
isolation. and-
Yeah, and then there's one that's a Hollywood blockbuster film that you've seen 1,000
Hurry,
times.
we gotta save the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other movie in it, and it
Yes.
fucking sucks.
Yeah, it does. It's very
So that didn't
standard.
deter you guys, or deter you, Joe, from seeing that beginning of the film? Did that take you out of it a little bit, or that just made you think?
Well, it just sort of set it up, and I'm like, okay, that was a little teaser. It wasn't long enough to be that big of a deal.
Okay,
It would
it
like-
just seemed a little too blatant, though.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
I would say like the equivalent is that first Hobbit movie where we go see the wizards for 45 or so minutes or however fucking long that is, where they're just in the meeting forever.
Oh.
And it just has nothing to do with the rest of the plot of the movie. It's like a similar thing in Superman, Batman v Superman, but with the Wonder Woman thing, it's like it's very short, and it's not. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
know. How did you
I'll
feel
give you
about it,
that.
Chase?
No, I'll give you that. It bothered me just a little bit, and it probably mostly because of what you guys were talking about in your previous podcast, I think on Nude Clan. I think that's what bothered me about it more than the actual film itself. Just like, damn it, I heard just about this from you guys, and now I'm seeing it on the movie.
I don't know. I'm okay with like a little, what is that? Just a little teaser, a little taste of the thing. But I mean, that was 45 minutes of the other movie. It was like, oh, look at these other people. And then the trailer for Justice League, I think, looks awful. And that was before Wonder Woman started, and I was like, oh. In my opinion, that trailer looks terrible. What do you think?
The trailer for
Justice
which one again?
League. For Justice League, man.
Wait,
I was
wait,
like,
wait,
I
wait.
saw this movie was in the other half of Superman.
I don't think I've seen the trailer for Justice League.
What?
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
Oh, it was totally... Well, maybe I'm going crazy here. There was some Justice League thing right before Wonder Woman.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it wasn't a trailer, but I thought it was. Anyway, back to Final Fantasy.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
No, it works. Did you play FF8 right after 7 or what?
I did.
Do tell.
Let's see. How much do I remember of Final Fantasy VIII? He was definitely felt darker, but in more of a just a stupid way. The character, you know, it's kind of like with 7, the guy was dark, and there was like some really bad shit. And then with 8, it was kind of like this guy is dark, but it's just because he's like an emo kid.
Yeah,
and
he's going through angst.
Yeah, and I actually liked the game at my age when I played it because I was young, so it was really fun to play. I think I just played it right after. You know, I think I had most of the games. I think I had like all 3 pretty much because they came like back to back to back, if I remember correctly, like year after year. And so, you know, I was able to place 8 right after 7. And I guess I liked Laguna. That would be my one thing that I liked, even though I think I remember hearing you guys hate on the what do you call it, the when they do that different storyline with Laguna and the other people.
Oh yeah. The vision scenes or whatever.
The vision scenes, yeah. And I liked Laguna just because he was a lot more more hip, just funny guy. He had more character to him, I think, is what I wanted to say.
He definitely had more character than Squall. Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of like in Final Fantasy IX's main character Zidane. He's got more character than I think Squall. Just I like it when characters are a little bit more fleshed out, and I feel like he was good, but he definitely didn't feel like a really, really high quality character like they have done in the past.
Yeah,
and future ones.
So I guess we had a question from us to you a while back that was, or maybe we were meaning to do it. I can't remember, but it was what type of character do you prefer? One that's more of a blank slate that you can project yourself onto, or one that has more personality? And it sounds like you might go with the one that's a little more fleshed out for you.
People with personality I think is important. I kind of like to play games. I don't mind long cutscenes as long as they're good.
That
I
really
know
is
Joe.
the differentiation, is it? Because oh man, going through a game with long cutscenes and you're not into it, you're just like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's awful.
With characters that are fleshed out or with personality, I think cutscenes are good because it reminds you kind of like a movie. But when you have very blank characters, like let's say you would think about a cutscene in Legend of Zelda. I don't know if those are going to be as strong.
They're also not as long, though, from the ones I remember in Legend of Zelda.
That's true.
Which is a good... if you don't have a real strong character, then the balance on the cutscene amount probably should be on the shorter side.
And I agree with that.
Yeah. What is your opinion on Eyes on Me?
Eyes on Me?
Yeah.
Man, I don't even remember that song. I just listening it to... I think you guys played on your podcast, and I listened to it, I'm like, that sounds terrible. I listened to that, and that's pretty much it. I just don't remember it. It was like... I think I only played the game like 2 or 3 times. And...
Dude, I don't know how you don't remember Eyes on Me, because it is obnoxious.
The instrumental version.
It is in there, and it plays twice.
Yeah,
it plays twice.
The instrumental plays a lot, though, and I don't mind that. The
instrumental's not terrible.
Yeah, it's not.
God, dude, that song is awful.
I don't know. I just have a very bad memory of that game. I like just like the sequence where like they're losing their memory in it. It's just I barely remember anything about the game. I just remember beating it. I'm like, okay.
Into the game that you lost your memory of yourself while you're playing FF8.
Maybe it was just a really bad game compared to the other ones, at least. I mean, it's good overall.
Okay. Well, did you win it chronologically? So what about 9?
9, I really liked a lot. I actually played it again just recently. I know I've beaten it, and the saddest part with that game is that when I beat the game when I was my mother's husband. He had this like decked out car, and it had a PlayStation 2 in it, and so we would play on these like 8-inch screens, like I don't know, super small,
Fun
just barely.
stuff. Actually,
What is it?
as a kid, like any little TV thing in the car is amazing.
It was amazing.
If you're a
It was
kid
great.
who wasn't used to that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember playing it on the PlayStation 2, finishing the game, and I was so excited because like I finally beat Necron. I mean, I think it took me like a couple tries to beat him, maybe 3. I mean, when I say a couple 3 times, I the moment I lose, I go back and level up like 10 or 15 times. So I don't like losing.
And then you realize that, oh shit, that didn't actually help because this is not.
Yeah, so I had to change my strategy a little bit, but I was so excited just finally beating it. And right at the end, I think, because the disc was old or something, it glitched out at the final cutscene. I think when Zidane opens the doors or something like that, there's supposed to be a cutscene after that.
Oh,
and I missed all that part, and I was just like, no. And then
It's a good thing there's YouTube. Did you look?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So, I mean, I watched it later. It's not an issue now, but
it doesn't feel complete.
It never felt complete. I was just so sad.
Oh, man, that sucks.
So I guess now we have to ask, do you prefer the Megadeth remake of Eyes on Me or the Megadeth remake of Melodies of Life?
Melodies. Wait, when did you guys do Megadeth Melodies of Life?
We never put it on the show itself. It's just on YouTube. It was a while ago.
Did we not put it on an episode?
Oh, we did on the Nubuo one. Yeah. We did.
I'll have to re-listen. I remember the Megadeth one on Eyes on Me, and I thought that was good. I didn't know that was Joe at the time.
Oh, what? What are you talking about? It was totally Dave Mustaine of Megadeth.
Yeah. I skipped some episodes every once in a while, and then I went back and listened to your episodes again, not like the ones that I missed, and I started piecing together like, wait a second, this wasn't a special guest.
Yeah.
Oh, you just made my day.
Yeah, we both got pretty decent. Well, actually, our impersonations of him are kind of awful, honestly. But his the way we talk as Dave sounds like the way Dave sings, so it works really well. We could both just pull it out.
And when I put Dave's song up on Reddit, on the Megadeth Reddit, there were people who really thought it was Megadeth, and they were like, wow, they sound awful now. What is this terrible song? And like, I think there's 1 or 2 comments on the YouTube video as well that are like, oh, Dave's voice.
Yeah, one guy's like, Dave's going downhill. I like the guitar, but his voice is just not what it used to be.
And of course, Dave took that as a compliment because Dave does he took the guitar playing compliment.
Yeah,
well, I would say. Yeah. So I'm happy that Dave is happy about that.
Kiko Lueri guy.
I'm starting to lose it. I can't differentiate the Daves right now. It's tough.
Just by the way, on a tangent, I want to thank you guys so much for doing this podcast. You saved me so many months of traveling from where at my house to work in LA. It's like a 2-hour drive one way, 2-hour the other way, and it's brutal. And you guys have been saving me like a bunch because you guys are hilarious. So I just wanted to thank you guys so much for doing the show. It's been awesome.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay. You like 9?
Yeah.
Okay. What about 10? We're just gonna go in order, man.
No, it's no problem. I went in order. So 10, I did just buy the remastered edition recently, thanks to you guys' show. I think I bought it through you guys, but I'm not 100% certain.
Oh, we hope you did. Thank you very much.
Yeah. If not, it was 12 for sure. I bought the remastered edition for 12 through you guys.
Oh my god!
But yeah. So I remember playing through 10. I played it on like a 12-inch screen. It was like one of those old ones, with the AV jacks for the PS2. And oh man, that game was pretty fun. I love the battle system. It's definitely fast. It was the last of the turn-based systems, big ones, I guess. I mean, if you don't want to count,
it brought the turn. It's turn-based, so it went away from active time for a while, right? Yeah. And it was really the last one that was menu-based in the way that we're used to with Final Fantasy. So through 10, even though it was obviously mixed between active time and then turn-based, like 10 was. It was still kind of that menu system, and then 11 was just like, nope. For good reasons, because you can't really do an MMO with that system. Maybe you can, but I don't understand how you would.
It'd be weird.
And then 12 was like, they took a lot of stuff from 11 and just kind of streamlined it, made it a little bit more automatic.
Yeah.
And then, of course, 13, I guess, is still menu-based in that way, but it's a lot different as well, so...
Yeah, I liked 13's. 12's, I tried to play it recently. I hated it. But maybe when I get the newer version, I'll play it again and I'll get used to it. But 12's system, just starting with it, it's very clunky in the beginning. I think Caleb said that it gets better when you really set the what do you call it, the specifications?
Yeah, the gambits up.
Yeah, once you take some time to set up to automate the stuff that you don't want to worry about, it does get pretty easy.
Yeah, I just didn't understand the attacking. Do I have to choose the attack every single time, or can I automate it? Just weird.
Yeah, I feel you.
But okay, but back to 10. Sorry, 10 was. I think the story was really good. The laughing scene was terrible, but I get the idea.
The laughing scene is up there, man. Now I realize it was on purpose.
The
laughing scene is up there with Eyes on Me.
Yeah.
In terms of embarrassment, if someone walked in right now who didn't know these games.
Yeah, I'd rather almost be naked than them walk in on this kind of a thing. Yeah, I feel you.
Oh my god. There are people with no shame, though. I wish I was one of them. I could live life a little bit happier.
It was pretty bad, and even if it was not on purpose, or I mean, if it was on purpose, it was still it just still didn't feel right. But at the same time, when I listened to it again, I'm like, oh, okay, it was on purpose, but still not done well.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. You briefly mentioned the end of FF10 early on.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
Him spiriting away just was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've probably all played it at least 10 times.
Did you cry?
I've probably played a lot less than that. Sorry, what?
Did you cry?
Yes, I did. I definitely cried.
There you go.
Probably
That's
really hard. It was a great story. There is no shame in crying. It was a great story. If Caleb, I think he only shed half a tear, and he's a monster.
Yeah, ever. But, yeah.
It was so
cry
good.
On 10, I'll tell you that.
It was so good.
But 10-2, you might have cried.
10-2 was bad.
It was a pain. Yeah.
10-2. It's really terrible, isn't it?
10, what's 10-2? I don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't exist in my books.
Oh yeah, what?
Battle system's fun.
Okay, I will say that I did rent it and I did play the battle system and it was great. But the story was quite unnecessary.
Yeah, it isn't the best battle system, and the story does hurt.
Is it the worst battle system to story ratio?
It might be, because at least Lightning Returns battle system is really fun, and 10-2's is pretty fun, and Lightning Returns story is only pretty awful, whereas 10-2's is really awful.
It's super duper awful. Would you put it on the super duper?
I would, yeah.
Part of the scale. God, dude, that's cringe. That's another cringeworthy one. So it's Eyes on Me, laughing scene, and then almost the entirety of 10-2, I would have to like, oh yeah, I turned my volume like really far down in that game when I was playing it because I was living at my parents, and I
was so excited for that game too.
Oh.
Just because, like, it was during the time when I just had beaten 10. I'm like, oh, man, that was such a great game. And then 10-2 is about to come out. I'm like, okay, I don't know what they're going to talk about, but if it's something past 10, that sounds great to me. And I rented it, and it was terrible. It just wasn't a good story. It didn't keep me in there.
You don't want to see the shenanigans of YRP.
YRP. Yeah, that was yeah, and everyone was like, well, okay, not everyone was half naked, but a couple of the maybe a handful of them were just like too much exposure.
Just a little bit, yeah. Maybe tone it down.
It's like I'm seeing your pubes.
I don't want to be a prude here, but
yeah. You get a bikini wax at the very least. I mean, Jesus.
Wow. Although 10's Riku was wonderful. that one scene when you meet her the second time.
Yeah, until you find out she's 15.
Yeah, it was. Dude, when I first saw that, when I first played FF10, I was like, oh my God. I was like, this shit is going down. How is this rated teen? And then it cuts it off, and I'm like, oh, you tease.
Well, it does say partial nudity on the back, so I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, here it is.
Maybe it's one of those. Maybe it's like Titanic, where it just gets by for some reason.
Yeah. Why'd they give this a pass? It's historic.
Well, I think I was under 18 when I played it, so it was okay back then.
Counts.
Yeah, I wasn't a rapist then. That's what I said.
It was all okay back then.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, it's aged with us, right? I mean,
no, it has not. Riku has not aged with us.
Come on.
Riku is a cartoon.
I think the problem is it's still digital, so it's not really human, so it doesn't matter. You know.
Fair.
So for Caleb, so please stop looking at hentai.
Oh. Jesus. Okay. You didn't play 11.
I did play 11, but I didn't get much into it. It was just really hard to start, and the play online system was weird. And
weird. That's a strange way to
terrible?
say awful. Yeah. Absolute hell.
Well, so see, the problem is I played it on my dad's computer at his office when I first started it. And when I was playing it, you know, he would get like messages or something on his computer all the time. And so if I were playing the game, it would crash.
That's right. You can't take the windowed mode.
And then you have to like wait because your character is still logged in, and then you have to log in after.
Exactly. I remember all that pain.
Fuck. Dude, there were certain... oh, go ahead.
I mean, it wasn't. I mean, honestly, it's a first world problem. It's not that painful, but I mean, it was just annoying to play the game, and then I eventually just stopped because of the subscription, and you know, being under 18, I didn't have that money on me.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man, there were a few quests that we had to go back to OG 11 for. Do you remember that, Joe? Or like during some of those, like the Shantoto stuff, like there were a couple of quests in there that we couldn't play in Window War, and I just couldn't not click off the screen, and it just kept crashing the game, and I'm like, fuck, this is taking forever. I'm like streaming it, and they're like, why are you using the original mode? I'm like, I fucking have to, man.
Yeah, because the game won't let you.
Yeah, it won't load. It'll freeze if you're using
I can't believe they haven't fixed that shit.
I know. I know. It's fucking... It's painful.
So it's still online, right? It's just not for...
There's like 7 servers.
Yeah, it still lives.
There's actually one that's really busy. The Bahamut server on 11 is like a really active server, but it's like the one.
Yeah, the rest are kind of like...
It's got like 3,000 people on it, and ours only had like 500 people on it. So
that's still an impressive amount of people playing that old of a game.
I wouldn't say they're playing. I say they're just standing there in Juneau selling shit and occasionally playing.
Yeah, that's fair. And then being like, you know, I'll help you craft because I'm a badass.
Yeah, that's true. They're nice people. So
and we craft anyway because we're.
Oh my god, dude! That game, they make it so hard to be an 11 player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. All right. You had some issues with 12. Did you only play 12 once? That's what I'm guessing.
So I played 12 once through, fully. The second time I tried to play it, and I just couldn't get into it just because I didn't like the battle system. But I'm going to give it a second chance, especially when I found out that they're going to remake it, or like remaster, I should say. I shouldn't say remake. It's not Final Fantasy VII.
No.
And I bought the thing, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to play that one. I didn't buy the $200 version because I'm not Caleb, but it's just too much.
I'm looking at a huge Stormblood case over here.
Yeah, big old throbbing Stormblood. It's awesome.
It's just too much. I'm sorry. It's just far too much money to fork out, but I understand, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
So proud.
So, yeah, just I don't remember too much of 12. It was just I just remember putting a lot of hours in. That's the one thing I really remember about 12. I think I got into the 100 or something like that. But I don't have that much memory. I remember fighting I can't remember if it was Shiva. I think it was Shiva. And that was like the most memorable battle I have in my head. That's the only one I can remember.
It's not Shiva, but yeah.
It wasn't Shiva.
It's basically Shiva. 12 uses...
It was some ice guy.
Yeah, 12 uses a different set of gods and summons.
Okay.
It's Matius is the name, but yeah. I know what you mean.
You remember that? Wow.
Yeah.
I would have remembered it during the 12 review. It's like I remember the game really well up to the review, and then it's just gone.
And the review is you exporting the data from your brain.
Yeah, pretty much.
To put more room for the other games.
Let's talk this out, and then I'll never have to worry about
You're
this
exporting
again.
it to the HiveMind UFF listener base.
It also depends on how much sleep I've had, whether or not memories can be oh my god, I forgot the word. See that? Right there.
Yeah.
Retrieved. Found it. Found the word.
So not too much experience with 12.
Well, okay, so let's move back a little bit. What about the first 6 games? Did you ever revisit those?
Yes, I am playing now Final Fantasy 1 on my phone because of your guys' podcast. I was like, okay, I need to really start playing these games. And I'm playing the
episode. Just really
inspired.
Really
you.
inspired.
I did listen to your first episode.
You made it through?
Yeah, it was. I didn't. The first time I was like, I'm not listening to this, and then I just moved on to the next episode. I was like, much better. And
I'm glad you didn't just say
screw
this podcast.
I did. No, it was Final Fantasy. I had to give it one more chance. I understand how it works. Final Fantasy FF1. I mean, not that great of a game. Maybe great at the time, and it got better over time. So I thought the same way with your guys' podcast.
Thanks. And then it peaked at FF10 and just went downhill from there.
Yeah, thank you. Ever since then, it's been trying to get that good, but they just can't do it. They just can't reach it. Last great podcast.
Okay. Have you played 6?
I have played 6. Okay. I'm at the last boss. Well, I shouldn't say the last boss. I'm at the tower to fight the final boss. I gathered all the characters. Gao and who are the big
Moogle,
ones? I got the Moogle, the hard ones. I'm trying to think. Umaro. Like those were a pain to get.
What about the mime chick thing?
The he, she, it, them.
Yeah.
The shit.
Go-Go. I think you're talking about Go-Go. Yes, I got Go-Go. I was like, I didn't even realize this is a character to get. I had to actually look that one up to see, am I missing any characters? And I didn't realize that was a playable character.
Oh, yeah.
And,
did you get Offering and the Genji glove as well?
What was the first one?
Offering. It's an item.
I don't know that one. I know. I think I got the Genji glove.
Okay. If you get both of them, you can do 8 attacks in a row, and it's pretty awesome. 8 or 16, I can't remember which one it is. I know it doubles from either 4 or 8. but it gets.
I don't think I've got that one yet. I think. Is that the one that you get in the battle arena? Is that where it's from?
No, it's one of the boss fights onto the side. It's been way too long, and I had to look it up to find out where to go.
Fair enough.
Did you go with the sword, or did you go with Ultima the spell?
I don't know if I've. Do I have to get that as part of the game yet, or is that just a side story part? I'm trying to remember.
It's something you have to
side
get.
Thing.
No, I think it's
For the
something.
spell?
Yeah, I don't. I think
you
either,
can just get the sword.
Yeah, but you have to level the spell up, obviously. But you choose between those two.
Oh yeah, you do choose between the two.
And then you have to with the sword, you have to take it in and
then
like
there's
change
some other
it.
shit where like it'll attack multiple times. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sword takes more work, and it also isn't as good. But
I'll have to check. It's been a couple months. I started it. I got all the way to the end, basically to the last basically temple or a tower that you have to get into to fight Kafka. But I was like, I'll get to this later, and then I just never did.
what? How do you? All right. Well, how do you feel about the game then? I mean,
The game's awesome.
Oh, okay.
I think like the fighting the dragons. I really like fighting the dragons that you have to come across, and having to change the strategies. It's not just like you can hack and slash your way through all the time. You actually have to have some strategy when fighting some of the bosses. Like I remember there's this dinosaur like dragon that you fight in a theater.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't remember if that one does like sleep or earthquake or something to like prevent you from attacking.
Vanish Doom, bud.
Yeah, I don't think they have that with the Final Fantasy VI version, the new one.
Oh,
the swine.
that is a shame.
I'm not 100%
Try
certain,
it,
but
dude.
I'm playing the
Cast
Steam
Vanish
version.
and then cast Doom. See what happens. Don't do it on any bosses. You can do it on the dragons, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think I even have. I don't have one of them. It's either Vanish or Doom. I don't have one of them, and that's probably because I didn't. I probably didn't fight one of the summons that have it yet. But I'd have to check. It's been a couple months since then. But I mean, the game itself is great. The animations for it, like I was thinking, like, okay, when Joe said, "Oh, this is a good game," I'm gonna. He's just saying for the time. And then when I played it, I'm like, this is still a really good game. You know, the animations really have some character, like something that you can appeal to, and they all have like an interesting personality. It was much better than I expected, you know, to be.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VI is like an amazing feat for the Super Nintendo. I would say it's. I was blown away with what they were able to accomplish, especially coming off of Final Fantasy IV and V. Like they were both impressive in their own respective ways, but 6 was like I just can't believe that this game is this old and looks this good and is this much fun and it has this much depth.
I think I really liked it because there's this like dimension where you're in battle, and certain battles like Gao could come in and you have to fight him, or like they start laughing and then they like do these like weird moves, or I think you have to fight the octopus guy, and like who's the monk in the game? What's his name? Sabin?
Yeah.
Sabine. Yeah, he like just comes in and then he just helps you in your battle. I don't know if that was against the octopus or something else. Like it's just like it's not just always a battle. Like they add these other things, it's not a cutscene or what would you call it when like there's an intervention in battle that makes it different from the normal gameplay?
I mean, almost like an active time event, but it's not active. It's like passive. Just something happens, and then you now have this other person. I know what you're talking about, though, and 6 was pretty awesome with that. It's like, oh, well, you're in a solo fight. All right, well, now one of your buddies made it back. All right, now you're a 3-man team. All right, now it's perfect, you know? Like, that is something that they started to do a lot, and it was way cool. I agree.
Yeah, and like I don't think 7 did that too much. and they did it a few times. Kind of like there's some event that's happening. But usually it was more like a talking thing, kind of like in 7. I think you have to fight this freak in the sewers, and like the water. They like tell you, hey, be careful. The water is like pretty murky and it's gonna like do poison damage or something to you. But that was like pretty much it, like for its events in battle, and that's why I liked 6 so much, just because there's so much there.
Yeah. What about 4 or 5 or anything like that?
I didn't play 5. I don't
How dare you?
think I'm planning on it. I plan on it. Don't worry.
I won't worry.
Don't worry. So as long as I listen to this podcast, I'll get to it at some point.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I played 4. Which one is the one with the Dragoon with Kane?
That's
is that
4.
4 or 3?
That's 4.
That's 4. Okay, then I have played 4, and I stopped right at the moon for obvious reasons.
Yeah, the moon's brutal.
I remember like I got just wrecked over there, and I started leveling up right at the end in the lava place. And then, I'm like Joe. I don't remember the exact names of everything. I just have like made up like mnemonics for it. Just it's the lava place.
Lava place. That's right.
Yeah, and I just remember leveling up there, and I just never got to the moon after that. I just didn't want to go any further. It was just brutal.
You were so close.
I know. I mean, I did that with 6. With 6 and 4, that I got really close, and with 9, I played 9, and I got to the final boss area, and I'm like, okay. I mean, I beat 9 the first time, but the second time I played it, I got to the end boss, like the end area, and I just didn't feel like going through it. I don't know why. I'm just lazy. I'm like, I did all the hard work. I don't feel like doing the end.
That is so crazy. I'm like the exact opposite. I'll hit that, and I'll be like, dude. Or we'll be playing 14, and it's like, okay, we only have like 4 quests left. Let's beat this tonight. Let's do it. I'm going to come back on in an hour. Like, it's just like, now I am awake, and now I must defeat this game.
So what do you think of the newer ones, 13, 14, 15?
So 13, I did like. There were a lot of cutscenes, and I didn't mind the cutscenes too much, except for the fact that I couldn't understand what the fuck was going on.
Yep, that's
in terms of like the Fal'Cie and the Lucy. I think now when I replayed the first half of the game, I understand it. It's not as difficult anymore, but you have to play it a couple times to get used to it.
I agree.
Yeah. But I never finished it. I got to some like even more high-techy place than normal. I don't remember the exact area, but I feel like you were fighting people that like had this like glass-like structure with a magnetized body, and the glass structure would move around or something like that. It's like the final. I don't know if you know this game. It's like the final boss from Indigo Prophecy or something like that. I can't remember exactly what they look like, but it was towards the end of the game, because I think I put like 100 something hours into the game.
Woo!
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Although I'd say about 20 of those hours is me leaving my PlayStation on, because there wasn't a save. So maybe 90, and I didn't reach the end. It was so long. It's such a long game.
I think Joe, I think you actually beat it this time in like 30 hours, didn't you?
13?
Got to the end, yeah. I don't think it took you that long.
I think it was like 50, when before it was like 62.
Oh, really? It was still 50 hours?
No.
But Joe doesn't do all the side quests, does he?
I think I actually wanted to platinum that one, remember? I put some hours into that thing.
But I think you found that
you
I think you found that you fucked it, so you just like quit and just decided to beat the game.
Right, but I think I put in some hours into it regardless. Doing some hunts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, yeah.
Yeah. The first time, though, was 62 hours.
Yeah, it's a long
Damn.
one.
Which was pretty long. But I did beat it. Okay, 14.
14 I did beat, actually. That was a fun game. let's see. My experience with it is more like the dialogue was a little bit long for 14. Heaven's Word was definitely, I think, in my opinion, a notch better than the first one. I don't know what you guys said compared to Heaven's Ward.
I think I said the same thing. It was like the cutscenes were a little shorter, so it was a little better.
And they talked a lot more.
There was a lot more voice acting as well. And I don't know if they pay by the word, so that might be also why the cutscenes are short. So they're voice acted, and the dialogue's a lot shorter. That game though, all that reading. So if you're trying to play 14, you're trying to pay attention to the story. I can understand people who would skip these cutscenes, because I'm going through it and I'm like, my response right now is to skip this cutscene, but I have to review it later. So if something happens and I don't know about it, then I'm going to be real screwed over. So the passive voice is real frustrating.
And then in the final boss for 14, I think isn't the final boss Bahamut and was it La Habrea or something like that? I don't remember who. It was Thane. No, Thane.
Are you talking 1.0 or 2.0?
2.0. I didn't play 1.0.
It was Ultima Weapon and
Ultima Weapon.
La Habrea at the end, yeah. And then that one guy that's part of the army whose name I'm never gonna...
Thancred. I think it was Thancred.
Yeah, Thancred was taken over by La Habrea, yeah.
Yeah, was he considered the final boss, or was La Habrea right after that? I don't remember.
I think you fight La Habrea, yeah.
Okay. So I remember like there was a bunch of cutscenes in that,
that dungeon.
When you go into that dungeon.
Well, it was a trial, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, and then like you couldn't watch them because if you wanted to watch them, they'd already be halfway or 3/4 done with the dungeon.
Yeah, I know. They're fuck faces, yes.
Yeah, no one wanted to watch the cutscenes, and I was upset, but also understandably, it's like I don't think it was the right spot to put the cutscenes if people would just want to go to the dungeon. Especially I don't know if that was part of like a part of the daily dungeons or something that you could possibly do as part of your dungeons. So I mean, it'd be kind of pointless to have those cutscenes there, and then they're going to skip it because they just want to get through it.
Right.
Whereas new people don't want to. New people want to watch it, and they're not going to be able to because they'll be done with the dungeon by then.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying, and I missed out on a couple fights the first time I went through. I've fought everything now, but it was still kind of upsetting.
And then I never beat Odin. Did you guys ever beat Odin?
No. I think I fought him one time, and it did not go over well. So. Yeah. We fought him like 6 or 8 times in that hour, and we just could not beat him. It was everyone was like, "Oh, Odin, this is not good," and then some people just like dropped out immediately, and it was just like, "Fuck." Yeah, that was a tough one. I never beat that guy. So yeah, that was my 14 experience. Mostly pretty easy, and then a bunch of fucking ridiculous bosses. So are you going to come back for Stormblood?
I considered it, and I don't think I will.
Oh, that's too bad.
Just because I know, but just when I played through I think I finished the Dragon Song War, and I was like, this is awesome. This is really good. But then I try to get back to the story. I'm like, okay, what's happening in the story again? And then I started to realize I'm not really invested into the story. And that's what I play Final Fantasy games for. And MMORPGs are time sinks. So it kind of defeated the purpose.
Yeah, I can understand that. I'm feeling sort of the same way while playing 14. I still like it, though. I like the game a lot.
Yeah.
Especially
the gameplay got better.
Dungeons and Trials are amazing in that game. And that's what people, I think, come to that game for.
Yeah.
But the story, I can't say, is a real puller. It's better than 11 in the most part, as far as MMO storytelling, but it's still got some...
My guy is not getting laid as much as he was in the 11 days.
That's true. That's
11 days,
true.
they were always after me. All those men.
With 14, it just what was I getting at? Until I moved to the Brynhilder account, I did move over, and I played with your guys' clan for a little bit, but for me, I just don't have you play the 14. People play online games usually because you have friends that play it. I just don't have that many friends that play Final Fantasy games. Now I have a lot of friends play Rocket League, and what's the other big games nowadays? Newgrounds not Newgrounds, Battleground or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's that one that's like. Shit, what is that movie that's like Hunger Games? Battle Royale. That's the Battle Royale game.
Okay.
Fucking sweet. Anyway.
Yeah, and those are the games that I have friends that are playing. Not many people I know play Final Fantasy that I know of. Like, they're mostly online. Does that make sense? It's like you have a friend, you have someone that, hey, let's go play this game. Oh, that sounds awesome. And I just don't have that with the Final Fantasy series, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
What about 15, man?
Yeah, most recent mainline. Got the DLC episode Prompto out. Super stoked, right?
I'm happy that I beat that after December is all I'm really happy for the other podcasts that you guys have.
Yeah, keep it on your hog.
Yeah, I was happy about that because I think it was. Did you guys beat it before January?
I
no.
did not. No.
Yeah, I beat it in January.
Yeah.
January 1st, actually, I think is when I beat that game.
Ah, dang it. So that's why I was happy. Just besides the fact that it's a great game, I was happy about beating it later in the year, or early in the year, and I think it was awesome. It was a great transition. I really like the action part because I think I don't think a game like Final Fantasy X, as great of a game as it is, wouldn't do as well for a big audience. I mean, the story is really good, but the gameplay, I think, has kind of evolved over the years, in my opinion, at least.
Okay.
To something that needs more action if you want a wider audience. And I do got to say, though, it doesn't really feel RPG-ish in one sense, because the leveling doesn't. If I'm playing this correctly, the leveling doesn't help too much, at least with the main storyline.
Yeah, it's very small increases. It's not... At
least with the storyline. With the final dungeons, not so much. Final dungeons, you need to be maxed out. Max out everything. Okay. And Adamantoise I hated.
Yeah, man, that was such a bad fight. I wonder if they patched it, but it's such a terrible fight. At least the version we got. It was
so
such
sloppy.
A mess, man.
And it was
I just warp strike the whole time. That was basically my plan. My play for it.
Same, warp strike a part that I shouldn't actually reach that I totally can because it's a broken ass fight. Yeah, all day.
Yeah. It is just not good.
All right, man. So we've kind of breezed over the series. We've taken like an hour-ish to go cover a series that's been around for 30 years. Craziness. But what is your ranking for the Final Fantasy games that you have beaten? I know you said you've started a bunch, haven't quite finished 6, haven't quite finished 11. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so I have 7 of the games, so I'm going to list the 7 that I have. So my favorite of all time, I for my top 3 at least, I did it based on which ones I played the most. So my top 1 is Final Fantasy VII. My second one is FF9. My third is FF10. My fourth one is FF15. My fifth one is FF8. Number 6 is FF12, and number 7 is FF14. And 7, it's pretty obvious. I have a lot more memory of playing it. I don't think I can recite the lines of each thing, but I remember like each scene in that game. 9, I really like the storyline. I love Vivi. Vivi was such a tragic thing. I cried at that too.
Oh,
yeah. 10 was just a beautiful story, and it had good gameplay, especially during the time that I played it. FF15, I thought it was really good, and honestly, I didn't see too many holes until I listened to your guys' podcast about it. And then when I heard your guys' podcast, I'm like, oh, I see them all now. It's like glass shattering.
Oh, I didn't
welcome.
mean to do that.
You're welcome.
That was all.
No. It helped open my eyes. And it made me like even when I played Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to see a lot of flaws in the game before you guys even do the podcast. And so thank you. It helped me at least like have a better eye for detail.
I would call Caleb Craig's Horizon Zero Dawn stuff a little nitpicky. That's what I would call that.
I had a lot of problems with the graphics in terms of like the way they did animations. Like I remember this one scene where one of the characters that you were talking to, their eyebrows were just twitching out completely, and like I just couldn't like get back into the story, at least at that moment.
You just start hyper focusing on whatever's happening. And you're like, fuck, I can't hear what they're saying. Like it's just their voice just starts getting all muffled. It's like all you can hear is the movement of the brow. It's like
and then when you guys said like the emotions were quite opposite, I started thinking back. I'm like, oh my god, what was the main character's name? Aloy. Aloy would have like, depending on the action that you told her to do, she'd either be really angry or emotionless. It just didn't feel right, even though it was nice that you got to choose kind of like those emotions when she would talk.
Yeah, and it was real on like 15, where like it gives you the illusion of choice, or it's like, oh, what do you want to do? Ah, well, fuck you. We don't care what you want to do. We're going to do this.
Yeah, at least 15, it's an illusion. It seems like you have choice, but I mean, it didn't. It still had a great story, I think, overall, and that's why I put it around the middle for me.
All right.
8 was just a little low, just because I don't remember too much about it. It just didn't graph to me as much. But I mean, still a great game. 12, I think mainly that has to do with the battle system. And I think that's subject to change after I play it again.
I hope so, because I love it. But
yeah, I apologize for that. And then finally, 14,
okay.
Just because of the story.
It's all right to be wrong, man. It happens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, speaking of being right or wrong, Schweiss, it's your time.
All right, you know what time it is. It is time for the quiz, the quizzical, the testicle between Chase
Stump the host.
and Joe. Yes, Stump the host. I hope you've been reading up on your Final Fantasy facts, Chase.
I've read all the novels. No, I haven't.
Nah, no novels.
No one's read the fucking novels, man.
Yeah.
I'm just. Oh, there are novels? Oh, shit.
Except that poor translator on livestream.net.
Yeah, he's read them all. All right.
I was just making a joke. I didn't realize there were novels.
Oh yeah, there are. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, canon and non-canon, so, enjoy. All right, man, so since you are our esteemed guest, you get to go first in this quiz. The first question is, what town is Barret from in Final Fantasy VII?
Coral?
Yes, that is correct.
Damn it.
I knew you were going to have that one down. I feel bad for Joe, because the next one is not going to be one for Joe. What is Balthier's actual name in Final Fantasy XII, Joe?
His actual name?
Yep. It's not Balthier. It's a true name.
Chase. I don't know.
No. All right, Chase. Do you know?
I don't know. Bosch. I have no idea. I have no idea.
It's Famrin or Famfrin, something like that. Yeah, it's Famran.
Famfrin? Where the hell is that from? I don't remember that at all.
His father, Sid, calls him that at one point in the game. I had to look up the spelling on it. But yeah, it's like a one-time real skull fuck. All right.
Dude.
All right, Chase. What famous voice actor voiced the character Miguelo from Final Fantasy XII? I got 2 FF12 ones in here today.
Oh, God. So you said famous. So can I at least ask how famous are we talking?
Pretty big.
I'm going to guess the guy that was in FF10. Wasn't his name Arnold or something like that?
James Arnold Taylor.
James Arnold Taylor.
Not James Arnold
Nope.
Taylor.
Ray Chase. I don't fucking know, dude.
No.
I have no idea.
More famous than Ray Chase.
Oh, wait. I can't remember.
More famous than Ray Chase.
Oh yeah, dude.
Can I? Was he in Final Fantasy Spirits Within?
No, he was
Okay.
in Final Fantasy X, though.
I do not know. I'm sorry.
Oh, fuck.
What is it, Joe?
It's it's the guy who does Bender, but I can't remember his
It's
name.
John DiMaggio.
Ah,
It is the guy who does Bender. He's in.
Oh man, I
From
loved Bender
Futurama.
too.
god damn it. Okay. Whose turn is it?
It's you, Joe. What pop star was recently added as a character in Brave Exvius?
You know what? We had to do like a whole half day of looking at her songs and me realizing I've never heard a single one of her songs, but for some odd reason she's really famous.
Yes.
And so I'm either in a rock, which is probably true, or like there's like another dimension that is pulling into our dimension in which
Yeah.
this person is famous. Her name is Ariana Grande.
Correct.
Yeah.
Dang.
Correct.
Never heard of you could not tell me an Ariana Grande song and
Yeah.
know it.
Same, man. All right, Chase. Tiebreaker right here, man. What is the name of the Al Bhed team in Final Fantasy X? The Al Bhed what?
Oh god, I just played the Blitzball thing. I'm trying to remember if it was really generic or it was a very special name.
Pretty generic, to be honest here.
I want to go with the
God.
Albed. I want to go with the Albed Strikers, but I'm not sure.
No.
The Goers.
No.
Damn it!
That's
Luca.
not them. I know who that is.
It's Luca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it, dude!
I know you hate the Blitzball, so I love these.
Give it back to me after his guess.
All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Is just as a tangent? Is it the Kilika Strikers or Kilika something? No.
It's the
Okay.
Kilika Beasts is what it is for them.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
It's okay. It doesn't help because I don't remember the exact word. But let me think. Albed.
Albed.
Albed. No, I don't have anything. I'm sorry.
Aura.
I got nothing.
Nope.
Damn it.
Besaid is the Aura.
He said, "God damn it, dude! We named every other team, didn't we?"
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
It's the Al Bhed Sykes.
Oh, now I know it.
Oh my god!
Well, shit. Now we have a tie. Let me see if I can come up with a quick. All right.
question
So
here.
the final question, the tiebreaker question. I'm gonna let it go to Chase first. What was the budget for Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within?
Um,
Joe
It
knows
was-
this, so-
I think it was 42 million.
No, Joe.
120.
That's closer. I'll send it back to Chase.
Come on.
120 was closer than Joe's, so take that as
I'll go. I guess I'll go with 102 million then.
102.
Yeah.
No,
80.
no, too low. You guys
Okay.
are too low.
God damn it, dude.
All right, how much did it make in the box office?
Oh no! Come on, you finish your question. Who
All right,
was
fine,
closest?
fine. Who was closest? Who said 120? Was it Joe?
I said 120.
You were closest.
God damn it! Yes, that's right. Win another one.
The movie made 137 million US dollars.
Oh damn.
Oh, and it was like
Or it
100
cost 137. Sorry,
cost 137, and it made like one. What did it make?
85.
It made 85. Oh,
It lost. It lost $50 million.
oh, that's so bad.
Oh man.
God,
And they suffered for that.
dude.
None more than the Gooch himself, of course.
Well, I mean, he still had a job.
Yeah, for a little bit, and then he obviously had his own studio, and he loves it now. I'm sure. So
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him for a while. So.
Yeah. Your personal relationship with
Yeah, I don't want to let that bleed over into my podcast.
We need like a lunch with him and Dave Mustaine.
We do, yeah. Those guys are actually
They should hit it off. Yeah.
they would be great friends. Yeah, both creative minds. Both like to work with very specific people and boot them if they don't like them. Right?
That you're probably right.
Yeah. So sweet. Joe wins another. Good fight there, Chase. Good fight. I thought you had this one, man. I thought this was all you.
I'm gonna remember the Final Fantasy X one. That one hurts.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Psych! It was the goers.
Yep.
Psych.
That's funny. The company I work for is called Sykes, and like we always say that all the time. I'm like, Psych! You're gonna get paid for working that extra holiday. Psych! It's great. It's classic.
That's good. I bet that never gets old.
No, it does not ever get old, dude. It's too good all the time, every time.
I bet it never gets old for you, I should have said.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
For them, it was probably old immediately. Especially because it's a family name. So it's like, they're probably just like, oh, psych.
Well, you did work at Intuit, which was another one you could just like...
Yeah, we always punned it. Yeah, we were like, oh... Get into it, huh? You get it, huh? It's like yes. So they hated it, but yeah,
psych.
Yeah, dude, psych. So yeah, man, thank you so much for joining us for this. It's been great talking about Final Fantasy. Obviously, we all have a lot of love for the series. Real quick before you go, though. How did you find our podcast? This is always something we're curious about, just at the tail end here.
Or if there's anything else you want to bring up.
Or anything else. Yeah, this is still your time.
Okay. I mean, I was needing something more than just music, driving. I think, music, as nice as music is, it gets old just listening to music over and over. And I mean, I would listen to comedy too. That gets old too. And so I needed something else. And I know that my cousin introduced me to podcasts literally last year. I didn't know podcasts existed until then.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah.
Welcome to the future.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've had a huge run in. I've learned about Twitch. Now I have my own Twitch stream. I do. It's not as big as your guys'. I just me playing video games that beat the shit out of me is what I usually do. Like I play Bloodborne and stuff like that. And I just recently beat that, and that was hell. But I've had a little bit of a rundown learning about all the things, and your podcast, I learned it from looking up, Final Fantasy is one of my favorite series of all time. What do they have? I looked around. I hated the UFF. Was it not UFF? No. Union Final Fantasy?
Union.
Yeah, that one.
We don't talk about them.
I'm not sure I've heard of that. But okay.
I so badly would hope to get the Patreon goal up to that point just to listen to these. I think it's a joke on about what you guys would be doing with them or something like that?
Drama, yeah. And we've got some great ideas for it, dude. I've got some, real killer plot lines.
I mean, I'm extremely excited for that just because it's...
I don't know if we'll ever hit that Patreon goal. It's pretty up there.
Yeah, we put it up there for a reason because it's pretty insulting.
It'd be a lot of work.
And
Dave is already fucking slow about that.
Yeah, Dave's also our writer for stories.
Yeah, he sent me that drum track for Suteki Dane.
Yeah.
And the drum track is there, so it's about 50% done.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
There you go, yeah.
So it's coming. It's coming along.
But yeah, I learned it's the reason I chose yours, guys, is okay, there's the Union one, which isn't that great. It's mostly news, and it's kind of boring, honestly. You guys are funny, and you actually go on tangents, and I don't mind that, especially if you're funny.
Thanks.
And you kind of need that because when you sometimes, not all the time, when you're too direct, it kind of gets boring. It's like reading a textbook. It just gets boring.
Yeah.
And the other ones were I think on Final Fantasy 14 or 11 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I saw yours. I'm like, oh, this is at first terrible because of the first episode, and then great after that.
Oh boy. Well, it's so far down now that it's hard for people to click on first.
Yeah.
which is nice. If you go into a podcatcher, you got to scroll
It's
a lot.
deep. Yeah, we've got like 160 plus episodes.
So
now.
we
It's
hope that
nuts.
people don't try that one first.
Yeah, of course, if they do, they're like, they can't be this way now. They can't, after 160 episodes, still sound like this.
We got.
Impossible.
I think. Are we in 160? What are we at?
Last week's was 163, so yeah, this will be
Okay.
episode 164 right now.
Okay,
It's a lot.
that is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fucking.
Yeah,
episodes.
I think I've listened to about 100 of them.
Woo!
I think.
Yeah, you got some more grind, though. Got some more grind
I-
ahead of you.
I think some of the ones I'm missing are the sexy swinging fan fiction ones that you guys have down there. Those are the ones I haven't really done.
That's a great listen.
Speaking of done,
Yeah.
super sexy swing. Anyway, okay. Well, what else was there? Twice.
I don't know. What do you...
Anything else you want to talk about there?
Yeah, what do you think about the 7 remake? Like, are you pro, against? What's up with that? That's something I like to hear from a lot of the listeners, because that's kind of like for the most part, everyone's excited, but, you know, there are some.
I am excited for it because it has been some years since I played Final Fantasy VII, so it will feel like a different game, and I do understand that it may be different from the storyline, and they might change some things, and it might be for worse or for better. You know, I mean, 7 was a great game, but it does need a graphical update compared to the other ones. Like, if you look at 9, it doesn't look like beautiful compared to like the PS3 and PS4 games, but it could still hold on its own a little bit.
Yeah, it still looks
Like-
pretty good.
Yeah, but 7
doesn't. Yeah, it looks like shit. I mean,
Yeah.
truly.
at least with the characters, the outside's not too bad,
Yeah, I agree.
but
It's not too bad.
still a little bland, and I think that would be a great thing to have, and maybe if it becomes big enough, they'll probably start doing it for the other ones too, which then unfortunately they might have to redo 6, which honestly I do think 6 should not be remade. It's good as how it is.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great game. I don't know if they
But-
will, but who knows?
mostly it's because it's 2D though, in my opinion, because it's
Part of the storytelling is also like what it looks like. I don't know. There's something in that spritiness that lets you like take a whole opera scene and just lets you believe it. But if you saw that in full CGI, maybe it would be a really hokey, crappy scene. So there's a whole bunch of little things like that would be you're
Yeah.
risking some stuff.
I'm sure they're going to change a lot of 7 scenes compared to the original
Yeah.
by a lot, at least the structure.
Yeah, we'll
It's-
see.
It's going to be Advent Children-esque, I'm sure. I think they're going to incorporate that story in there somehow, too.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be great in one sense, because at least that with gameplay wise, you'll have information like about the characters developing. It's not just some movie out of nowhere. There's actually some development going to that point, so it could be better.
Yeah, it could be, but I do feel like that is going to play a part in it. I mean, it'd be crazy not to think that. I think, anyway. I don't know. Maybe not, though. Who knows? But,
It might be an episode because it's supposed to be episodic.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Are they still doing that?
Yeah, they're still releasing it in chunks,
Wow.
as far as I know.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, episodic, quote unquote, it's going to be huge, but still, like when I think episodic, I think Telltale. Okay, I have 2 hours of chapter 1, so let's play 2 hours of chapter 1, and then it's done. So not quite to that extent, but yeah, it still will be. So
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Chase. We really appreciate your support of both this show and Nude Clan, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Nude Clan's awesome. Anyone who's not on there, please move over there.
Oh, we would get 4 times the amount of listeners
yeah,
if people would just move over, but they don't. They don't.
It's great. I mean, I don't want to put down Ultima, your podcast, but the Nude Clan one is just it has more potential, I think, in one sense, because you do have a finite date for you guys eventually in the far future. When
yeah,
you
it's
beat the last
finite,
game.
but it's a blurry. It's like when you're walking through the desert, right? And you think you see a little oasis, some water, and like you keep walking, but the water, you just don't ever see the water. You never reach it because it's not real.
I'm thinking another 4 or 5 years probably before you guys finish.
Hey man, if I have told people on Twitter, like, look, I can eke by on $1,600 a month. I can do it. So,
if you guys, if we get that much in Patreon, we could make the show.
I could
shine. We could finish this thing.
We could finish this thing in a year, right? Like,
yeah.
You could just be like, well, my 8 hours today, I'm going to play this game.
Yeah, we could do it. I mean, we would have to be fully supported, of course.
Yes, we would.
But we could.
Any millionaire listeners out there that really want the show to finish up?
Yeah, for some reason, they love the show enough to pay us a shitload.
I suggest listening to Nude Clan as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's only I only need $1,600, man. That's enough for like a really a really crappy apartment with a roommate, and expenses on top of that.
Yeah,
$1,600.
A mere
won't be saving for retirement or anything, but I'll be able to eke by.
No one wants it to end, though. Come on.
No, I don't want it to end.
Oh,
we're gonna feed it like fish in a when you give them a little fish food, just a little bit, just to let them keep eking by. That's how I feel.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you so much, Chase. Anything you want to plug? Your Twitch channel or anything?
Yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitch, it's Chase First Game. So right now I'm playing Skyrim. So if you want to watch me beat the last few bosses of Skyrim, I'm almost done with the main quest there. You can follow me there.
Sweet.
Cool. No Twitter or anything like that? Or
I have a Twitter, but I never use it.
Oh, okay.
I think I basically use Twitch.
I thought Twitter was the stupidest thing until I started using it for this show.
Yeah, me too.
And I was like,
no, it's pretty cool.
I prefer this, actually.
Yeah.
I agree with you because of Facebook, because of like its preventions with like your Nude Clan stuff. Like they won't let you do that, and I'm like, okay, maybe Twitter is better, but it's too much work.
Yeah.
I feel you. It's hard to set up, but once you get in, it's fun. Ish. I mean, it's just cool to have quick, like, 2-line conversations with people.
Yeah.
So that's good.
I like it. All right. Well, that'll be it for this show. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
This has been another production of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. The show was produced by Joseph DeGolier and Caleb Schweiss, with music and editing by Joseph DeGolier, parodies and clips from their respective authors, of course. You can get all of our episodes as well as our Let's Plays at ultimafinalfantasy.com. You can also contact us on Twitter at UFF Podcast, as well as our contact page on our website. Be sure to subscribe and review our podcast. Your reviews may get read on the show, and look forward to the next episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast.